You are listening to the Keeping It Juicy podcast.
Your main squeeze in nutrition.
Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon on YouTube so you can get notified every Tuesday when we upload a new episode.
You can also add us on Facebook and Instagram at Keeping It Juicy Podcast.
Okay, welcome to episode 40.
Give us all the gluten.
Yep, today is a very exciting episode dedicated all to gluten. So we've mentioned gluten in the past in a couple different episodes and some of the issues and concerns around it, but today we're definitely diving into what exactly all of the issues, concerns, what it means, what it's not, all that fun stuff.
Right, and I know that we're behind to, I guess, the trend, but I feel like it's been over-talked. So,
I think it's still a trend.
It still is, but like you literally cannot unsee it when you walk into a grocery store or a bookstore even.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and it's definitely not like at the peak of the trend. Like I would say the peak was maybe 5-ish, 8, maybe 10.
No, more like 3 to 5 years ago. Remember when we first went to the convention, this one lady was there signing books for a gluten-free diet.
Yeah.
Even though she had no celiac disease or gluten allergy or anything. But hey.
Yeah, it's been at a peak for a while, and anyone that I talk to about nutrition, gluten comes up at least once in the conversation. What do you think about gluten? Like, don't really think anything.
Pay me $10.
Hey, come on.
But before we do get into gluten, we do want to take a dive into the new nutrition in the news. So this is all dedicated to one of our followers who actually brought it up to us. And she asked what this was. And when she asked, I wasn't sure what it was either. It's called the Thrive Experience 1-2-3 system. If that, I guess from the name, you could guess that could not sound that legit, at least in my opinion.
Trendy.
Too trendy, right. And I'm kind of glad she brought it up because it looked like a load of BS. And I'm sure as shit not going to sugarcoat it as we go through it. But basically what this Thrive experience is basically a line of products that are trying to sell you the Thrive experience. So it's supposed to be an 8-week premium lifestyle system to help you experience peak physical and mental levels. You're supposed to take these 1, 2, 3, not 4, not 5, 1, 2, 3 premium products. Yeah, that's it. Every single morning. So, according to the website, this has changed millions of lives. How and where are these people? Because I don't see it. Do you?
I've never heard of this. And I'd say we're both pretty in tune to different. Like,
I would hope so.
I think we're pretty in tune, and I've never heard of this. You've never heard of this. Doesn't mean it's not out there, but millions.
So the real question is, will the real Slim Shady please stand up? Because I'm confused. So, according to the website, doctors, nurses, dietitians, and personal trainers all around the country not only love the 8-week experience, they're also promoting it to friends and family. Simply pick your 8-week goal or define the areas where you'd like to experience the greatest improvements. Excuse me, which dietitians and doctors are these? Because I don't see them. I don't see any of them advertising this.
And also, like the second you hear about someone, say, promoting it to friends and family, you know it's either, whether you want to call it an MLM or a pyramid, it's one of those systems. So.
Pyramid. I hear pyramid whispering in my ear.
I know. That radar is going off.
So, on the website, it says, lose weight and tone up, which, of course, when you hear the word tone up, that's just a clickbait word. That's all it is. Like, what? And then it says, take your workouts to new levels. What level? calming of general discomfort. Are you constipated? get back get back in shape. Okay,
What
I can
shape?
deal with that.
Circle's a shape too. Like,
I prefer to be a triangle. A little bit of a parallel. So better food choices. Okay. Look better, feel better, more energy. Clickbait words, like I said.
yeah.
So apparently they sell a couples pack for
Mhm.
you and your boo. Ooh. Tone pack. Again, that clickbait word. And lifestyle pack. So do I have to buy the shit forever? Basically, it consists of lifestyle capsules and lifestyle shakes. Does this sound familiar? Herbalife?
It sounds like almost every other like lifestyle
Bullshit.
nutritional program out there, and it's just supplements. Like that is the bottom line.
I actually clicked on one of the products, so I clicked on the premium antioxidant beverage, and
Mhm.
it automatically started a video on my screen that showed beautiful graphics and half naked fit males working out. I mean, okay, what if I was?
Sold. Just kidding.
I mean, I feel like I should tell you something already. And when you exit out, that's when the supplement facts finally show up. So they make you go through this video trying to coerce your brain into thinking this is the best thing ever,
Yeah.
and then it brings you the facts.
Mhm.
And so by this point, you're probably already slightly swayed by the video. And as far as I know, these supplements are not regulated by a third party to verify what's in them. Again, another red flag. I tried to check to see, I didn't see that at all.
Mm-mm.
And apparently, my favorite thing yet, you can be a customer or a promoter.
Ooh.
Whew, another twist on you. So if you sell these products as a promoter, you're supposed to receive cash rewards, VIP auto bonus. Does that? I don't know what that means. Extra rims. I don't know. An
Auto
iPad
like
bonus.
car?
I don't fucking know.
I
I
don't know.
guess
Is
so.
this like Mary Kay or something? Like,
Maybe I don't know. And VIP bonuses. What does that mean? Either that sounds like a section strip club that no one should go to. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure you smell the pyramid scheme a little bit, and just a faint hint of lies. Just breathe it in. I can smell it. I
But
do.
my
Do you?
question is like when you actually looked at the supplement ingredients and whatnot, was it even remotely decent?
I mean,
Like, or was it just
like
basic, which with really
it,
good branding?
it was basic with really good branding. I mean, the antioxidant beverage one had a whole bunch of like so and so extracts, blah blah blah.
And we've
I
already
mean,
talked about antioxidant supplements are not they're not scientifically proven.
no,
Sometimes
they're not.
they can cause more harm than good, actually. It's not
Hmm.
the same as getting it from a real food. So that's already off my list. Like,
Damn, you don't want to get the Thrive
I
experience?
don't want to be a promoter. No.
Oh,
Also, when I was reviewing the website myself, of course, I wanted to see who was behind all of this fuckery. And to no surprise, it is thin white men. The founders are two thin white men. So we talked about this in a very early episode that behind many of the biggest commercial diets out there, white men are typically the ones who created it, and they tend
and
to have no nutritional background whatsoever.
like they're never overweight either.
Yeah. Mm-mm.
And it just cracks me up that it's always guys that have no idea how females go through life or experience their bodies or understand women's bodies. They're the ones making this shit up.
Right.
Fucking
And
annoying.
and the marketing, caters to them a lot. Like a man is not going to watch that video and be like, "Ooh, I want to be like him." Like no, it's women being like, "Oh,
I mean,
like that's attractive or something. I want to be a part of something that these type of people take." Like it's all
right.
about association. And
Dude, it
those
was
models that did the video didn't take this product. Like
dude. I was watching a video and there was like explosions and graphics. I'm like, was that what's supposed to happen in my body? Because that's for shit.
But I
I'm
want
not going to take that.
yeah, so it's just we had never heard of this before. We might start to see more of it pop up. There are so many diets out there, and I'm sure many of us have heard about Herbalife before. I'm getting the same type of vibe from it.
Mhm.
Of course, there are some more obnoxious on the spectrum than others. Um, this one's pretty high on the obnoxious scale, in my opinion.
Right.
But who knows?
I
Who
mean,
knows?
yeah.
If it
So,
actually helped people, I hope it did, but I'm just getting uh, an Herbalife vibe from all of this.
I mean, if you've done this before, like, let us
Yeah.
know in the
Mhm,
comments below, or just
mhm,
shoot us an email and let us know how your experience was, your
mhm.
Thrive experience. Maybe it was something different than what we think it is, but
Yeah.
I mean,
And
from
if
the
you're
looks of
familiar,
it,
yeah. And another thing too is it's like this, you set this 8-week goal. What happens after 8 weeks? That was not clear at all from the website. So maybe we're missing something. Maybe you have to be a client to get that information, or you
might
get
be.
paired. I don't know. Maybe you get paired with a promoter and they walk you through your 8-week program and then you make goals to maintain, or I don't know. Like,
They probably what the products probably do is just make you lose a little bit of water weight and give you that placebo effect, and they're like, "Oh, you have to keep continuing to take this product
they're
in order to keep."
probably packed full of caffeine to make you feel better,
I
or
mean,
some sort of extracts.
like we've talked about before, supplements do not always necessarily have the ingredients that they say that they have, especially when there's not a third party involved.
Mhm, mhm. But I will say just because it's third party involved doesn't always mean, like, it's the like Beachbody, for example. A lot of their products are third party verified, which is great. What it says it actually has, and they have
Mhm,
good manufacturing practices, which
mhm.
Herbalife can't say because people have died from bad manufacturing processes. Anyways, back to
You said not me.
Beachbody. A lot of them are third party verified, but it's still this recruit people
Right,
type
and
mechanism.
right, and I mean, there's several spectrums of the beach body as well. I do know that they have this one program, I forgot the name of it, but that's actually run by a dietitian.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I think she received a lot of success through her programming. So
Mhm,
through her, like I
mhm,
know one of my coworkers went through her program and she found good success.
mhm.
But there's others who just buy the Beachbody products
Yeah.
and go through a different health
Mhm,
coach. That's a
mhm.
completely separate
It
story
you get
usually.
what you get, you know?
Right.
Who you get as your coach plays a huge part. In my master's program right now, there's actually about 2 or 3 girls who are Beachbody coaches as well, and they're dietitians.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
there's a spectrum when it comes to the how obnoxious these programs are, and of course, the compensation programs are very different as well. This
Right.
compensation program of Thrive seems super sketchy. Like, VIP auto
VIP.
bonus? Like, is that money, iPad bonus? What if I don't want an iPad?
I
How
think
much
of
do I have to sell to get the iPad? Like,
I think of free rims. I don't know why. Nothing else.
auto bonus, like, it's
Oh
just
shit,
weird.
cuz got the seat cover and all.
And a lot of times, like, with different network marketing MLM type businesses, a lot of times the compensation program is on the website or it's easily accessible. This was not.
Right.
So, how do you get compensated? Like, it's just weird. So, there's a spectrum.
I feel like one of these days we have to go undercover, figure it out ourselves.
Dude, let's do it. Let's
And
do a whole episode of like reaching out to different programs and seeing what sort of
I'm down.
feedback we get.
I'm down.
You onto something.
Ooh.
Let us know if that sounds like something you're interested in. If we go undercover and reach out to these uh, programs.
I'm excited. Oh, leave a comment below.
But with all of that being said, let's move on to the majority of our episode, which is gluten, which is another really controversial topic. So first, we'll just give like a brief overview of what is gluten. So gluten is a general name for the proteins that are found in wheat. So this is wheat berries, durum, emmer, semolina, spelt, farina, farro, gram, and then there's kamut. So kamut, which is a newer grain, rye, barley, and there's also triticale. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. This is also a newer one, which is a cross between wheat and rye. So there are a lot of different grains that kind of gluten is found in these. So what gluten actually does is it helps food maintain their shape. So it basically acts as the glue that holds foods together. As we know, gluten is found in many types of food, even ones that you wouldn't expect.
And wheat is actually commonly found on top of that in breads, baked goods, soups, pasta, cereals, sauces, salad dressings, and roux. And if you guys don't know, roux is basically flour and butter for the Southern folks. Stir it
Yeah,
up.
you do that in the skillet and you've got your roux.
Flick the wrist. So, and gluten is also in barley, and barley is commonly found in malt. So, malted barley flour, malted milk, and milkshakes, malt extract, malt syrup, malt flavoring, malt vinegar, food coloring, soups, beer, and brewers' yeast. Like I guess from going through this, you can kind of tell why there's so many certified gluten-free products because it's in so many things. And then gluten is also found in rye, and that's in rye bread, such as pumpernickel, rye beer, and cereals. And then triticale, obviously, is a newer grain, and it's specifically grown to have a similar quality as wheat while being tolerant to a variety of growing conditions like rye. So it can actually be found in breads, pastas, and cereals as well. And then oats, gluten can be found in it. Oats adds diversity and offer many nutritional benefits to the gluten-free diet. So the Celiac Disease Foundation's medical experts actually recommend only oats that's labeled as gluten-free because cross contact can occur when oats are grown side by side with wheat, barley, or rye. Like the oat itself does not have gluten, but since they're typically grown next to other grains, it's typically recommended to go gluten-free.
And then also like manufacturing processes, like if you read the label, it'll say manufactured on equipment that also manufactures this, this, and that. Cross-contamination can occur that way as well. Maybe they didn't completely clean out the vat before they did the next thing. It happens. So severe allergies, like you definitely want to make sure it's super gluten-free, even if you're eating oats. So patients eating oats from any sources may complain of symptoms. This could be due to one of several factors, including intolerance to fiber. So that's a big one. If you're not eating a high fiber diet and then you start eating a high fiber diet, you're gonna go through a couple uncomfortable moments, very common. Also food intolerances. So this could be contamination with gluten. And it's also could be an immune response to the oat protein, similar to that occurring due to gluten immune response. So the decision to include oats should be made with your physician or a dietitian and should include monitoring of your antibodies just to see if it is an actual immune response.
Right. And just because you slightly feel fuller after you eat oats does not mean you're gluten free. So it's important to double check.
Right. Surprisingly, when I eat oatmeal, it goes right through me. Like,
really?
I do not stay full.
When I eat gluten, I stay full for like God knows how long, and I can't eat too much.
We're talking about oats.
Oh, sorry. That's what I meant.
I said oatmeal. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I stay full for a while.
Like the only time, if I eat oatmeal, it has to have, and if I expect it to keep me full, it has to have like blueberries, flax, chia seeds, honey or something like that. And by that point, it's like 800 calories. So
That's fine. That's fine.
so that's why it keeps me full.
Right.
But if it's just oatmeal with like a little bit of a topper,
Right.
oh man, I'm full for like 45 minutes. And like, but I will say if I went through this phase of like adding some protein powder, that keeps me full.
Oh yeah, I always add
I
protein powder
love
to my
that.
oatmeal.
Mhm.
I like that nice healthy balance of protein with the oats.
Exactly. But if it's just oats,
Okay.
no good.
So, with that being said, who can't have gluten? Well, we'll tell you all right. So the first one is gluten allergy. So I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of this. So as we talked about before, gluten is a protein found in grains such as wheat, barley, and rye. And some people are allergic to wheat, but that is not exactly the same as a gluten allergy. Gluten allergy is a misleading term commonly confused with that of wheat allergy or sometimes even celiac disease. There is no such thing as a gluten allergy, but there is a condition called celiac disease. So, like I said, no such thing as a gluten allergy.
Mhm.
Gluten intolerance is not an allergy, and there are currently no tests or an accurate diagnosis for that particular um, condition. So people with certain symptoms might need to be tested for celiac disease, but few people with gluten intolerance actually do have celiac disease. Gluten intolerance is not an indication for allergy testing and is not a condition where an allergist can offer their help. There are many people who label themselves as allergic to gluten and unfortunately limit their diet without actually even seeing a specialist, which is a pretty common thing. And people with gluten intolerance should be seen by their primary care provider or referred to a gastroenterologist if there is a concern about celiac disease. Always go to your GI doctor first if you think something is going on. You can't just self-diagnose. That's not going to get you too far.
Mm-mm. And we'll get into more about what celiac is, but if you have any like inclination to think that you have celiac, as we get into it, you'll see why it is so crucial that you actually get diagnosed. And you do need a diagnosis. You cannot self-diagnose yourself.
Right.
But now we'll dive into what gluten intolerance is. And if you know the difference between like allergy and intolerance, allergy is an immune response, intolerance is your body is just having a hard time breaking it down somewhere along the digestive tract or absorption and things like that. It's not an immune response. That's the difference between allergy and intolerance. So gluten intolerance is a wheat related disorder. Symptoms can include like stomach pain, bloating, occurring after foods that contain gluten, such as wheat, barley, and rye. Researchers often call gluten intolerance non-celiac gluten sensitivity because although celiac disease does have similar symptoms, they are completely separate conditions. And you'll see that very shortly. So in celiac disease, the body's immune system attacks its own tissues, which is triggered by gluten in the diet. That's not good. You never want your body attacking itself in response to a food. For whatever reason, the body views that food as foreign. And it typically happens in people who have a genetic vulnerability to it. And scientists have identified certain genes that are behind celiac disease. So it is definitely, there's a genetic component to that. But gluten intolerance is less well understood, and scientists are really unsure at this point of why it occurs.
So, with that being said, let's kind of go into celiac disease because that's what you guys are all here for. So, celiac disease is a serious autoimmune disease that occurs in genetically predisposed people. Let me repeat that: genetically predisposed people, where ingestion of gluten leads to damage in the small intestine. It's basically estimated that it affects 1 in 100 people worldwide. So 2.5 million Americans are undiagnosed and are at risk for long-term health complications. Again, that does not mean it's you. So when people with celiac disease eat gluten, again, a protein found in wheat, rye, and barley, their body mounts an immune response that attacks the small intestine. So these attacks leads to the damage in the villi, which are like small finger-like projections, like just like that line your small intestine. And basically, the reason why your small intestine has this is to promote more nutrient absorption because there's more surface area to do so.
Mm-hmm.
So when this villi is damaged or flattened, nutrients cannot be absorbed properly into the body. So that's what happens in
That's
celiac.
bad.
We don't want this to happen.
No.
We want it to be live and just floating in the wind. I don't know. But so celiac disease is hereditary. It runs in families. People with a first degree relative with celiac disease, aka a parent, a child, or a sibling, have a 1 in 10 risk of developing celiac disease. Celiac disease can develop at any age after people start eating foods or medicines that contain gluten. So when it's left untreated, celiac disease can lead to additional serious health problems.
Mm-hmm. So as we talked about before, gluten is a kind of key trigger word. It's a hot topic. So yeah, companies know this. So the more they can make gluten-free stuff, more products equals more money. Whether or not you even have celiac or any intolerance or anything like that. So nearly 10 million Americans in 2015 said they ate gluten-free products. That's a lot of products and that's a lot of people. That's way more than celiacs. So it is estimated that Americans spent $4 billion on gluten-free products in 2015. It's a huge industry.
Yeah, and with that being said, like that's only including the products that they actually ate. Those products that you don't eat either, I've seen gluten-free wet wipes. So, I mean, I guess that's good for if you're allergic to gluten, but just something to make note of. Like, I don't know why gluten should be in wet wipes, but
to start with, exactly. That's ridiculous.
So, I don't know. According to research, it's been found that women are more likely than men to avoid gluten, and the diet is more popular among 20 to 39-year-olds. So we need to watch out, you and me. We cannot fall into this.
We're in that demographic. We're targeted.
Ooh. It's also popular among world-class athletes, apparently. And in another survey, 41% of 910 world-class athletes and Olympic medalists said they followed a gluten-free diet at least half the time, and most had self-diagnosed with gluten sensitivity. Among the many stars reportedly going gluten-free include, non-surprisingly, Gwyneth Paltrow, Russell Crowe, why? And Kim Kardashian, of course.
Yeah.
So it's a trendy diet, as you can tell. People want quick fixes, and diets are frequently used as a quick fix for deep emotional issues. Just kidding, just regular issues.
Partially true. So now we're going to dive into some of like the common arguments that you hear either in favor of gluten or against gluten. And the main thing that I hear is gluten has changed, and the argument behind that is that we have mutant seeds that are grown in synthetic soil bathed in chemicals. They're deconstructed and pulverized into fine dust, bleached, and then chemically treated to create a barren industrial filter that no creature on this planet should ever eat. And we wonder why it's making us sick. So that's what a lot of people who are strong contenders of the whole gluten is different than it used to be. And we process it so much that we make it almost toxic to our bodies. And yes, like processing is different than it used to be. You don't just like pick something out of the ground and eat it anymore. It goes through a lot of processing, but so do apples. Like there's all of these different processing mechanisms. So
I will say the moment you pick an apple from the tree, that's considered processing. The moment you wash it,
it's processing. So literally everything is processed to some extent.
Right.
Not saying that's okay, but it's going to happen. Like that's
Mhm.
part of our food system now. Thank goodness we have that food system. Otherwise, we probably wouldn't be alive. Like things
No.
have evolved for a reason. So I'm not saying that this is 100% true, right? Like our processing has changed. Our soil is a little bit different. There are more processing mechanisms going on now than there were when we were still like cavemen and stuff. Yes, we do break things down. We do bleach some flowers, but almost everything goes through some sort of genetic modification and is chemically treated. Why are we just pointing fingers at gluten when literally almost everything goes through
Right.
a similar sort of processing?
Right.
So, another argument is that about 40 years ago, breeders introduced new varieties of wheat that helped farmers increase their grain yields. There was there's a time period for this. I think it was like the Green Revolution or something like that.
Right. Right.
And there was like a shortage, so they got all smart and like did something and, and increased their product yield. So basically, it's theorized that 90% of the wheat that we eat came from this new varieties that were produced during the Green Revolution. The
Mhm.
theory is that our bodies haven't adapted to the new genetic variations that came from the Green Revolution.
See, I mean, it would take forever for our bodies to change to get used to a certain variety. I mean, even just now, our canine teeth are only slowly starting to go away. It's still, we still have
Hmm.
some of it, but it's taken like thousands of years for it to change. You can't
Exactly.
just all of a sudden,
Exactly.
you can't
And
just,
the thing
it's,
is, I think there's like way worse things that we're eating, like synthetic dyes and stuff that our bodies definitely aren't adapted to, or more worse than
potato chips.
worse than gluten, trans fats, these chemically produced compounds. Gluten is you know it's
Hmm.
there. Like I think there's way worse things that our bodies probably haven't adapted to, and it takes thousands of years
Right.
for the body to adapt. Like then why aren't we all dead? If
That was a
that's true.
loaded question.
But you know what I mean? Like
Right.
wha if it's such a if our bodies truly haven't adapted, like actually I think our bodies are doing a pretty good job.
Right.
But anyways, again, not saying that it's not 100% false. There might be some truth behind it, but scientists really haven't found an answer. But science also doesn't support this theory that we haven't adapted and we're incapable of consuming gluten that was introduced 40 years ago. There's
Right.
just it's not clear yet.
And another argument that they have is that some experts believe that there's a rise in the autoimmune diseases, allergies, intolerances, more than gluten, but also peanuts, soy, milk, etc., is more so due to the hygiene hypothesis. If you have been watching any of our episodes, we've covered this topic before. So basically, this is the idea that our environment has become so clean and sterile that our immune systems no longer have to fend off so many bugs and infections, which to a certain degree is right,
Mhm.
especially when we're young. As a result, our immune systems start to overreact to things that should be harmless, such as wheat or peanuts. I mean, yes and no. Like, I agree that there is some sort of, it's cleaner,
Mhm.
but when I was younger, I was told to roll around out to have fun outside, and I rolled around in the dirt, and I think I'm fine. I'm
Yeah, I think of my growing up and I definitely wasn't like I see some kids and they're just so sheltered. Like
just
parents
looking at their
freak out.
iPads. Just
Yeah, parents freak out at everything and that was definitely not my childhood. Like I was out and about.
right, and
So,
I was riding bikes, scraping my knees, and I was really in the dirt, man. Like, I mean, I don't know. It's just I feel like maybe there's some truth, but not 100%. I mean, there are also many other theories that could help explain the the gluten intolerances, some scientists are looking at changes in the gut bacteria, which is obviously an important role. There's
Mhm.
also growing evidence that antibiotic use early in life and the timing of introducing babies to wheat and other grains could actually favor the onset of celiac disease later in life. Again,
Yeah.
a loaded statement,
Yeah.
but it's just something to be aware of that
Yeah.
evidence moving
And
forward.
something also to keep in mind is a lot of it's genetic, and
Mhm.
also a lot of the gut bacteria that you inherit comes from your mother. So something to keep in mind as well, like if your mom has a issue with gluten, maybe there's a chance that you have a higher chance of it, whether it's celiac or not.
And
And then
that can be the same for lactose intolerance too.
exactly. Mhm.
That's
Peanuts.
hereditary, right?
Mhm. Mhm. All of those kind of bigger allergens and sensitivities and whatnot. So it's very loaded. There's a lot of different theories, and the truth probably lies somewhere in between all of them. It's
Mm,
probably not one or the other, which is
mhm.
common with a lot of different nutritional issues out there. So, getting down to kind of the bottom line is the argument of like, I feel better when I eat gluten free. Okay. Or do you just feel better because you're not stuffing your face with so many carbs?
Ooh, she said that.
So, that's a theory. When you eliminate gluten foods, bread, carbs, pastas, you might just feel better because you're not eating so many carbs. And again, not that carbs are bad, I didn't say that, but when you eat too many at a period of time and you're not like exercising and using that energy, you might feel sluggish. You get these insulin rises and falls, and that might be why you feel better. Another possibility is that there are other proteins found in wheat. So maybe once you remove gluten, you're removing all of the other carbohydrates that were harder for you to digest. Maybe one of those other proteins was the one that was giving you the problem. If you eliminate gluten altogether, you might have found a solution. But if you feel better when you eat gluten free, go for it. Like,
Right.
go, whether it's a placebo or you actually feel better, I don't care. Just do what makes you feel
We
better.
don't care,
No.
but we just wanted to give you the facts.
Exactly. If
I
you
mean,
feel better, go for it.
all I know is if I eat spaghetti, I'm not going anywhere for the next 4 hours. I'm just saying.
I know. I know. That's true.
I mean,
Staying
I
right
mean,
here.
if I mean, if that's what you consider not feeling good, I mean, okay, if you can go ahead and
But
put
that's the carbs more than like.
right, right, and
And
people
it's the
like to associate
quantity.
that
Like
with
what if
gluten,
you just
right?
like what if you just ate like a little bit of spaghetti?
I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, but let's talk about quantity too.
Okay, let's not talk about it right now.
Like I don't want to go down that rabbit hole.
Not today. So another argument is gluten-free foods are still heavily processed, if not even more processed than their gluten-filled counterparts. There is a huge array of gluten-free foods available now, which is amazing for those with celiac or severe allergies. But at the
Mhm.
end but at the end of the day, junk food is still junk food, similar to vegan food. There is a ton vegan substitutes, and they are still heavily processed and sometimes not even any healthier. Uh, they are just an option for those with dietary restrictions. That's something to keep in mind because you're going to see gluten-free potato chips because I don't know why gluten would be in potatoes in the first place, but they do have that.
It's
So
just a trendy thing that manufacturers can slap on the label and
charge you an extra $2 for.
pretty much, pretty much.
Unless you have those dietary restrictions,
Yeah.
legitimate dietary restrictions,
Mhm.
um, like, don't even bother buying
Right.
those products.
Exactly. Exactly. And if you have any like suspicion that you have an issue with gluten, you know, feel free to eliminate it for a little bit and see how you feel. But maintain a healthy diet in the process of that and keep the processed foods to a minimum no matter what. Gluten-free cookie is still a cookie. So
What?
I know it's crazy. So
Oh, no.
the bottom line is there is not a clear consensus on gluten. Sorry.
Come again.
Yeah, just
Oh man.
not a clear consensus. It's almost like peanuts too. Like peanut allergies are on the rise and they're not really sure why.
I mean, that might be a cause for another episode.
Yeah.
So we can dive a little bit deeper into the topic.
And then there's always the crazies out there that are like, the government modified it so they can kill some of us. It's like,
that sounds like a redneck way in the deep south of Louisiana.
I've heard it though. People have some
Yeah.
crazy conspiracies about food.
I mean,
Or they're just like, they added something and that's actually what's causing cancer. And it's like,
I don't know about that. So, what is your favorite food theory?
food conspiracies.
Right, conspiracies. So, what is out there to kill us today?
I know. It's
Alkaline
crazy.
water? I mean, I feel like it is. I mean, they probably flooded Flint, Michigan with alkaline water. Okay,
Oh my gosh.
that's a little too far.
This is how
But
rumors start.
I mean, that's a whole
Yeah.
separate topic.
Yeah, please send us your favorite food conspiracies or just other like weird diet stuff that you see.
Right.
So thank you to it was Danny Dupree for sending us the information on Thrive. So please send us any weird stuff you see. We love staying on top of it and just sharing our thoughts with it.
So with that being said, let's kind of do our social media shout out of the week. And this is from Laura V. the RD. Thank you so much for your support. She's a registered dietitian from Central Massachusetts, and she has like a lot of food pictures. Like, look at that shit.
Wow, nice. We love food pics.
Yes, we do. And she is rocking it. So thank you so much for your support.
Yeah.
And if you guys want to check her out, definitely do that.
Yes, thank you for the support. Please like, comment, share stuff.
With that being said, now that we kind of went into the Thrive experience, I kind of want to take a deeper dive into It Works.
Oh, no. No.
You said no?
I don't know if that's worse than Herbalife. I think they're like neck and neck.
One way to find out, man.
I know.
So let us know if you want us to do It Works too, because I do not mind. I'm probably more excited about it than Christina's right now.
Okay. Well, that concludes our episode for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Lots of good talking points here. So let us know your thoughts.
Yeah, I actually really enjoy this very much myself. So let us know.
Let us know. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we will catch you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to the Keeping It Juicy podcast.
You mean squeeze in nutrition.
Don't forget to subscribe so you can join us every Tuesday for a brand new episode.
Also, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook at Keeping It Juicy Podcast.
We'd love to hear from you, so please leave us a review.
5 stars, no less.
On whatever platform you're listening to, or send us an email at keepingitjuicypodcast@gmail.com.
Or if you have any topics you'd like for us to touch upon, shoot us an email. Until next time, don't do anything that I wouldn't do.